What is up, Go World? It's me, your boy JDZ, and I'm back at you again with another Go Format video. We got to keep this top 10 train rolling. I have already completed the win, and now today I'm going to move on to the fire. And just like always, I've dug through all the rummage and I've dug through all the refuse, and I thought win was bad. Fire is also quite terrible. It's hard to decide which one is worse, but you know what? I had to go ahead and compile what I believe to be the top 10 best fire monsters. So without further ado, I'm going to hop on in, but as always, make sure you go ahead and put a like on this video, go ahead and put a comment on this channel, subscribe to this channel, and get in and tell me if I got it right. Tell me if I got it wrong. A lot of duelists reached out in Discord, told me how wrong I was about to win, and I need to do the same. I need that same energy coming back for this fire list, because it might be a little bit of controversy, because a lot of this I'm going with my heart. I'm going with my own bias, my own nostalgia. Cards that I enjoy kind of move up, and cards that I don't kind of move down. But this is the GoFormat.com official channel, so this is the official top 10. If your top 10 doesn't look like mine, you're absolutely wrong, unless you get in the comment section and tell me why. So here we go, jumping in, starting this bad boy off at number 10. Number 10, we're gonna start off with the Manticore of Darkness. Okay, this card actually had some meta relevance for a time. There are a few decks that this card can be used in and played in. There's an Exodia OTK deck. There is like a draw your whole deck kind of thing that you can do with this, some kind of beast control deck that you can play Manticore of Darkness. And it does say Manticore of Darkness, but in fact this is a fire type, so that's one of those things Konami absolutely got wrong when they were in the naming process. And this card looks so cool. I mean, they could have gave this guy some shorts or something. They could have gave this guy some shorts or some undies or some skivvies to cover that, but this dude is absolutely jacked, absolutely yoked. Really cool looking card, very nice artwork. And if you didn't know, this card is actually the artwork that is on Smashing Ground as well. That fist that's punching the earth, that is confirmed to be Manticore of Darkness's fist. So this card, very iconic, very epic, pretty cool effect as well, and it does actually come up in some type of decks in some gameplay. So I had to put this guy in at number 10, Manticore of Darkness. All right, moving on to number 9. Number 9, we are going to put the Gren Maju Daiza coming in at number 9 as a fire monster. And I put this card in there because, again, this is my own personal bias, but I used to play this deck like all the time. Way back in the day, I would play the Gren Maju deck, banish a bunch of stuff, put out Gren Maju at a humongous attack, and then try to attack it. And that's a really fun deck. It's a very bad deck. It's kind of a casual blending on borderline competitive deck. It can be played. I think it's interesting, but I just want to put this card in there because I think it looks very cool as well. And he does have a cool effect, and it does have some meta relevance. So that's why I had to put Gren Maju in there at the number 9 spot. Again, fires are lacking in competitive cards. This card's pretty cool and pretty good as well. So he's coming in at the number 9 spot. All right, Gren Maju, shout out to you. All right, moving on to number 8. Number 8 is none other than the recruiter of this attribute. Again, I had to include the recruiter of this attribute. It's going to be the UFO Turtle. And first off, look how ridiculous this card looks. This is a turtle with a UFO on his back, with a damn spaceship on his back. I mean, at some point, you know, they were just shoveling it to us, and we were just eating it up. No one even questions what this turtle is, why he has a spaceship on his back. What is the story behind this? What is the plot behind this? Where is this thing located? It's kind of floating in some type of molten space. Who knows what's going on? But this card is really cool. It's really iconic. All those recruiters are iconic. This guy still had to put him kind of low because you can't really recruit too much with this thing. I got a couple of the cards in that you can, but it's not a lot of recruitable targets with the UFO Turtle. But still, just from iconic epicness alone, this card had to come on into the top 10. And at number 8, UFO Turtle. Okay, moving on to number 7. Number 7, I had to include another card that I absolutely love that could be. This card could probably be played as well. I will go ahead and throw the Command Knight at the number 7 position. Speaking of recruitable UFO targets, Command Knight is searched by UFO Turtle, searched by Reinforcement Army. It is a warrior. Got that bulky 1900 defense, 4-star. It is a fire. That is probably the biggest downside. And I'm telling you, when I was looking at the win cards, I was like, man, win kind of sucks. Fire is not much better. It might be even worse. Fire kind of sucks, but Command Knight is a decent card and had that secret rare rarity coming on out in the Mega 10 rarity. But this card is pretty neat, and I did see some Warrior players experimenting with this card last season in their Warrior decks. I mean, putting this thing beside a Blade Knight. Now your Blade Knight sitting at a bulky 24. That could be pretty neat. Attacking over spies, attacking over, you know, Chaos Sorcerers. I think that's a really cool thing. This thing's got like the reverse marauding captain effect, you know. So if you have two of these, they can kind of mutually protect each other. And also if you have another warrior like a Zombie or something, a big beefy guy, they can't attack this thing, and it's just boosting everyone's attack. So that might be something people can consider. I think this card is definitely on the verge of playability in our format, definitely on the casual and rogue rapscallion level, but on the competitive level I think it's right there on the fringe of being playable. So I had to include that at the number 7 position. All right, coming in at number 6, and this one was a close one. This 6 and 7 were close, but I went ahead and added the Iron Blacksmith Kotetsu. I know a lot of duelists have had terrible experiences playing the Iron Blacksmith Kotetsu because he gets knocked so hard. He gets mind caught. Everything bad that can happen to a flip effect monster always happens to this guy. But if he can get that flip off, you know, you can grab your premature burial, you can grab your snatch deal, you can grab your equip card, usually getting armed with that Benkai OTK style deck or some kind of equip card strategy. It's definitely pleasant from your deck, and it's adding, you know, cool cards to your hand. So this is definitely a card that is quite good in certain situations. I still don't think it's good enough to be super meta, but this card is actually quite good in the certain rogue strategies that is played in. So I had to include this guy at that number 6 spot because it does get played from time to time. All right, moving on. We are in the top 5 now. We are in the top 5, and I'm really scraping. This is the top of the bottom yet again, and I had to, in the 5th position, I had to put this card in. It's going to be a controversial one, but I had to include the Solar Flare Dragon, another target that is recruitable by this UFO Turtle, bringing out 1500 attack, 1000 defense. Solar Flare Dragon says, while you control another pyro type monster, this card cannot be attacked during each of your end phases. Inflict 500 damage to your opponent. So it's like a stall burn kind of card. You know, it takes a long time to set up, but once you can get all your stall cards activated online, ready to go, and you can pair 2 of these things together, that's 1000 points of damage per turn that your opponent cannot now attack. So I think that might be something. I know burn is on the decline, down, horrendous, you know, Mystic Walk and all that kind of stuff, but if you can have a burn on a body, kind of like Boganian stuff, Solar Flare Dragon stuff, maybe that can work if you can protect it with, you know, Solemn Judgments and all that kind of stuff, and have your Solar Flare Dragon set up. They can also attack and they can also burn. So if you can get some chip damage in and also burn, I think that could be pretty neat. This card was played heavily. This was a playground menace back in the day. I remember Solar Flare Dragon causing all sorts of ruckus on the playground and on the lunch tables, but I think this card might be able to be played now coming on back. So tell me what you guys think about the Solar Flare Dragon. I think that's pretty neat. All right, moving on into the top 4. Top 4, we are in it now. Top 4, and oh my goodness, this card should be number 1. I don't know what I was thinking. I put my bias to the side, but this card should be absolutely number 1, and that is none other than my boy, my favorite, one of my favorite cards is going to be the Lava Golem. Okay, Lava Golem, this card is actually still crushed. From what I understand, this card is actually still crushing it today in side decks in the advanced format right now. Lava Golem is still getting played, and I think this card is severely underplayed in Go format, especially for the reasons that I stated before. Burn has kind of been just relegated to a C tier almost level strategy because of Mystic Walk. So this card coming in, getting walked for 3000 is just so bad. So I get why people don't play it, but if you go back and check the channel I released my rendition of Lava Golem Control. I think if you can go that way with it, or maybe you can have it where it's coming in a situation where Mystic Walk isn't going to be the problem, maybe game 1 or game 2 situations, or we haven't demonstrated that you had burn, maybe this card is very surprising because it can kind of control the field. It does have a burn effect as well, and maybe Lava Golem brain control, take it back, attack for 3000, give it back, that's 4000 damage. Everyone's playing Solemn Judgment, everyone's playing stuff like that. You know, they don't see it coming. So I think Lava Golem is a sneaky good card in our metagame, and a lot of people might want to think about playing the Lava Golem. I think it's cool. So I'll get off my Lava Golem soapbox and move on. All right, we are getting into the top 3. Coming in at number 3, it is going to be Thestalos, the Firestorm Monarch. This card is pretty cool as well. I think this card, if you check out what Scully did in Scully's Lab, he showcased his Monarch Thestalos turbo deck, and I thought that was pretty cool. Just showing, like, if you just keep recycling, keep summoning this thing, keep ripping cards from the hand, doing that little bit of burn damage. I mean, this card can be played. I think this card definitely can be played. However, you know what I'm saying, it still is the worst Monarch, still is a brick. You still have to tribute for it. You still, you know, it just looks so ugly, and it is fire. So man, it's really hard. But at the same time, man, I think this card is definitely among the best of fire monsters. That goes without saying. So I love Thestalos. I like what he's doing. He is the worst Monarch in Go format in my opinion, but still the best of the fires. All right, moving on. Now we're at the top 2, and this was another controversy that I had. This was another controversial moment. Maybe it's 1, 2, and 3 are all kind of close, but just for epic, you know, epic boss ability, is that a word? Epic. I am going to put the Sacred Phoenix coming in at number 2, and this card gets played. Okay, this card got played back in the day. A lot of people had success with it, and it kind of fell off into obscurity. Phoenix Wing Wind Blast kind of comes out and just absolutely just derailed this card's any type of transcendency this card was kind of having. This card is great against Solemn Judgment. It's great against Regeki Breaks. It's great against all the Sakuretsu arms and all that kind of stuff. It's just hard to use because it is a definite brick. But if you can figure out a way to incorporate this card into your game plan, get it onto the field, it can do wonders. It can have great effects. I use this card myself, and I had some success with this card. I love it. I like the way it looks, and it's so epic and iconic. As far as fire monsters are concerned, this card is definitely number 2 material. Could also be number 1 if it wasn't for one other card. I am going to include this card, and now we are going to move on. So at number 1 for the fire monsters is none other, and I'm sure you've all guessed it by now, I'm going to put the most epic boss on here. I gotta put Horus the Black Flame Dragon level 8. And get it, I get it, this card is a brick. I get it, this card is whatever you want to say. I'm reading all the comments already before you've already written them. Hey, this card sucks, this card is a brick. But I'm kind of incorporating all the Horus series into one manifestation of a card, because there is no more bossier of a boss than this Horus Black Flame Dragon. And I'm telling you, maybe it's my bias, but I've never owned a Horus Black Flame Dragon level 8. I wanted one so bad, and I never had one. And maybe that's probably why I'm putting it on here, because if this card can be, if someone can build a deck around this thing, if they can get it to the field, they can make it happen. This card is amazing. You know, just freely negating spells and just doing this thing. 3,000 attack, 1,800 defense. I love Horus Black Flame Dragon, especially when you pair it up with King Dragoon and you got Royal Decree down, or you have like My Body's a Shield or stuff like that. This card just becomes just OP as hell, and I think it's really cool. So I love Horus Black Flame Dragon. That's why I had to put it at number 1. It's the number 1 fire monster in my opinion. Maybe, you know what I'm saying, it might not be the most playable monster, but if you look at all these other fire monsters, there really aren't any card that is equal to, or maybe Thestalos can just be more just throw in a deck and be splashable. Maybe Thestalos is as far as like playability, but as far as being an icon, as far as being the best card, the best fire card, I'm going with Horus, because if you can get Horus out, he has much larger impact than any of these other cards on the field, or any of these other cards that I've chosen. So that's why I put it. But as always, I love to be wrong. I love to hear from you. I love hearing from the community. I love doing these videos because, and that gives me time to reach out and talk to you guys. So anything you want to say, let me know how wrong I am, and I will be more than willing to sit down and respond to every comment. We can have this debate. What do you think? Did I get it right? Did I get it wrong? Make sure you like, subscribe to this channel. Let me know. And I also want to hear your fire monsters. Always let me know who I left off the list. Okay, but until then, I'm JDZ. I play Ghosts. Until the next time, shout out to all the real ones. Salute to the OGs. Peace.
This program was made possible by the Corporation for Public Broadcasting and by contributions to your PBS station from viewers like you. Thank you.